Okay, hello, welcome back to 1989 again and Gang Wars. I've chosen this because I was going through the 2.5 fighters and I wanted something that was kind of out at the same time as Double Dragon, which I've just done a little video on. So we've got Gang Wars. I just want to compare it against something from the time because I've compared it with slightly. I suppose I looked at the Capcom ones, like especially Final Fight, which was kind of concurrent with Double Dragon 3, I suppose. And this is actually a year after Double Dragon 2. Let's see what it's like. I've never actually heard of this. I've just found this on my list. I sorted the list by genre, so let's have a look at it. We've got a female protagonist, which is presuming Jackie's female, unless it's just it's going for kind of an anime look to it. So you can never actually tell. Is that sexist? No, I think it is. I think Jackie is a guy, just very pretty, extremely pretty young man. Let's have a go. Oh, can choose my name. Let's be Bok. Oh, I can build my let's get power. 1989 New York. A little girl was taken away by someone unknown. This is the end of them. What the hell is going on here? The two won't be overcome by anyone. Ah, it's too late. Is this a case of very bad translation? This is our territory. Wow, that's a really great... You probably didn't hear that, but it was a brilliant example of late 80s voice synth. So here we are, back in the urban decay again. I'm all there with the urban decay, and the time was here. I must say I'm preferring this to Double Dragon already. It's got some great... It's just as cheesy. It's just as New York urban decay as anything else around this time. See, I told you... New York and Western society was... Well, New York became the kind of like the whipping boy for the whole of capitalist society at this point, and how it was a hotbed of crime and social decay and urban decay. I love fake graffiti in these games. For some reason that guy was laughing even if I was kicking his face in. I must say Double Dragon did need a bit better. They all have the same laugh. I must say the controls aren't quite so good because you've got to press two buttons at the same time to do a flying kick. Oh my god. Oh, you can pick up bits of... The graphics are much nicer. Again, I don't know if there's some kind of digitisation, pixelisation of people, real actors, photos going on here. Just thinking about some of the shading it's using. Can I pick up that thing? I don't think I can. I've honestly never heard of this. It'd be interesting. I'll have to look up and see whether it got many console ports or anything, because it might be better known than I know. But it's definitely a carbon copy of what Double Dragon seems to have started 2 years earlier. Technically, it's slightly more accomplished, and this certainly the artwork is actually quite nice. You've got some nice detail, perspectives on there, nice use of colour, and some interesting characters who stand out. Though actually, I take back what I said about the voice samples. That laugh is really annoying me. Some palette swaps on that car. Garage, garage, garage. Is it the Farage garage? There we go. God, it looks like Right Said Fred. I thought the Mitchell brothers. I don't know. I don't know if there's much here to keep me going. Can I climb? Do I need to keep fighting these guys? I wonder if I do. Can I... Let's beat them up. Come here. There's a lot of frame jittering. I can't. Oh, I can't actually. Right, can I climb? There we go. I can climb. Not bad climb. Oh, aerial perspective on a cityscape. See, that's how you do it, Double Dragon. Is that a car exhaust? Oh, I picked up and threw it away. How did I do that? Idiot. Oh, nice one. That does. That is a car exhaust, isn't it? Or is it like a concrete block with a pole? I don't know. Nice bit of wrestling move going on there. Oh my god, the sound effect is doing my head in here. That was the most awful bit of sound effect there. It's like an alarm going off in my head. Actually, it's kind of giving me a headache, so... I mean, it's interesting because it definitely sounds kind of like a car alarm going off. Or not a car alarm, car horn. But it's very loud. And I haven't got headphones on. So thematically, it's interesting. I've noticed it's a 4-player game as well. There's a nice little bit of themed enemies and everything all around the garage there. I mean, whether that was supposed to be the sound of a car horn that was going off when that boss guy was coming towards me, I don't know. But whatever it was, that's kind of effective. Oh, here we go. We're in some kind of military base. So, you know what? I'm going to kind of call this one a day now. I'm not that interested in playing much more of this. It's definitely a Double Dragon clone. And you know what? It's not that uninteresting. I'd actually rather play this through a bit more than Double Dragon. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. I might choose another game around the similar era and then do a bit of comparison. Alright then guys, see you later. Okay, so welcome back to 1986, and now I'm playing Renegade. Now, I sorted all of my coin ops, my main ROMs, by release date, and this was the only one of its urban style 2.5D betas that came up as earlier than Double Dragon. I kind of remember Renegade, hearing about it. I remember it was one that some friends of mine raved about at primary school, at junior school, saying how cool it was. And I think it had just been released for home port. But it's actually... I'm going to try and find something earlier than this that's... is again urban decay and dystopia in New York City. Oh, I like that. Good luck, kid, it just said. But it'd be interesting. I don't think much of the music, but it uses the same controls as Double Dragon too, actually. So, yeah, definitely. It's got that the one button punches attacks left and one button attacks right. You know that I was having trouble with that. Actually, with Double Dragon 3, it's not the same control. So Double Dragon 3 took up this control method. Actually, I didn't look who this was by. Who did this game? Hang on, let me have a look. Yeah, so I've just checked. It is this. Yeah, I mean, it definitely looks similar. It's definitely the same publisher. I don't know what the publishing developer system was back actually in the day for this, but it's definitely from the same stable that gave us Double Dragon, and it plays very similar, except you've got a lot more space to go with. I wonder if it's like an arena battle of this. I've never actually played this. The graphics are slightly more cartoony than Double Dragon. Actually, I think it works better. I don't feel like being so badly mobbed. I like that guy standing around tapping his foot in the background. It's very Warriors, this. As you know, I'm a bit of a fan of the Warriors film. I do like that. I think it's a very good film. It's got that... Oh, kick him. Am I kicking the nuts? No. Come on. I want to see what happens if I clear this room out. Oh, no, he's entered the battle now. So he must be like the boss. I wonder if it's several arenas and you just have to... The music is terrible. Oh my gosh, I've got no continue when you die. So we're back in the day where if you don't finish it off, there's no continues. Yes, because there's no credit thing. So I guess this was a prototype, and I guess they just thought, you know what, how can we evolve this and add a bit more of a narrative going on into it. And so Double Dragon came after this. How fascinating. I'll have to give this a bit more a go. Can I knock him off the edge? Oh, God's sake. There must be a lot of throws going on here. I keep kicking in the wrong direction because of the button there. Come on, get up. Oof. You know, I can't be bothered playing that anymore now. But that's interesting. So, definitely Renegade seems to be one of the earliest, if not the earliest, of the video games that chucked us onto the mean streets and let us beat up gangs of thugs, which I kind of appreciate. Let's give it one more go and just see if I can get a handle on it. Oh, I seem to have a jump control. Why didn't I find that? Come on, get off. Get off me. Get off me. Get off me. Oh, I get it. You can throw them off. Oh, get off me with that baseball bat. The graphics are actually really appalling. I mean, I thought Double Dragons was bad, but these are really... It kind of looks like they've been rescaled. They look like something that's been drawn at half the size and then scaled up a bit. The music is just abominably bad. Oh, come on, get off me. It's not letting me contact... Oh. Nah. Interesting, though. Okay, let's see what else was around at the time. Okay, so here we are. Let's see what Konami was up to in 1989. I'm choosing these by genre. I've skipped over a few that I wouldn't mind picking up on a future video. But I want to stick with the theme of urban decay here. And this is Crime Fighters. These girls have all been... Oh, by this fat toad. They've been kidnapped by a fat toad. Oh my goodness. So Konami, oh my goodness. I mean, I'm no fan of Konami apart from Metal Gear and Silent Hill, but 1989. Oh, he's just been kicked in the nuts there like that. It's funny, topping away, clutching his nadgers. It's, again, handles very similar to Double Dragon. I'm guessing there's a lot of these going around at the time. It's an interesting perspective, actually, on the screen ratio going on here. With the sort of widescreen thing. But they don't make any use of it in the game. Oh my god, are you covered? It's got some funny little bit of graphics and a bit of nudity. I don't mind the graffiti in the background of this one, actually. It looks quite interesting background art. It doesn't make use of this whole widescreen perspective because there's hardly anything going on the screen in terms of... I think that would work well if the sprites were twice the size and they had more of them coming on. But if you think about it, 2/3 of this screen now is pretty much dead as far as I'm concerned. So why are they showing me the whole widescreen? It's a bit ridiculous. Here we go. Punks were still the baddies at this point. All street gangs. It had to leave someone in there with a big mohawk. Wow, and when you put a credit in, it reminds you you're playing a Konami game. Ooh, I've got a big weapon. Ah, taste of my mighty weapon. This is a bit easy. I must say this is ludicrously easy, really. It's not particularly challenging, especially when you've got a weapon. And also because there's only like two. I wonder if the frame rate really dropped when there was more than 2 enemies on, because I'll probably see this looks like it's about to load up with, oh no, 1 guy, because Double Dragon's frame rate seriously dropped whenever there was more than 2 people on screen at the same time. I got no. Oh, I can continue. Phew. I just want to see what the next level's like. See if I can beat this guy easily. Oh. That's pretty bad collision detection. Come on. Let's mash a few buttons and get this guy. Oh, I see. He stops swinging his weapon when you move. It's a shame the actual design of the enemies is quite nice. You've got some nice bit of artwork going on there. I think they could just be done with being about twice the size. The background art's pretty good. Oh, another advert for Konami. I suppose this was around the time of Final Fight. So Final Fight was doing things like these subway car fights and stuff. It's an interesting twist with how they've done the design with the size of the graphics. Oh, you've got more on the screen now. Not really a huge amount of variety. I'm going to have a look around and see what else is going on. Some nice artwork in the background, I have to say. These games just make me realise just how actually Double Dragon, although it's one of the most well known, is actually probably technically the worst. This is certainly better to play and a bit more fun to play. Anyway, let's see if there's what else was around in the late 80s. Okay, I'm going to carry on with 1989 and a game called Tough Turf, and I don't seem to have any sound for it. It hasn't given me a warning. You know what? I'm going to give this a go. It's another game I haven't heard much of. I might try the other version, see if I get sound with it. Hold on. Yeah, so Sega and Sunsoft. Still no sound effects. I'm going to play for a bit because I think this is the last one I'm going to do of my Urban Decay little playlist here. And the description funny says a guy who looks like he just got off of work goes and beats up punks. Yeah, why did they choose? What, he just jumped out of a truck and he's dressed like a yuppie. What's this? Double yuppie. I think, yeah, double yuppie I'm going to call this one. Tough Turf. He's pretty buff for a yuppie. He's been eating more than Perrier. The modem My Looper. What the feck's that all about? It's not very good. He moves so slowly. It must be all those muscles weighing him down. And that guy looks like he's fading into the background. Why have they given him just... I mean, it's nice that they're not all black outlined, the characters, but that grayscale is not working. He kind of looks like the semi-invisible man. Can I pick this thing up? Can I pick the pipe up? What's the punch button? You usually punching down. No. I'm not sure what Sega and Sunsoft were playing with here, but graphically it's awful. It's so muddy looking. Again, yeah, definitely just a Double Dragon rip-off. Oh, it's a shame to end with a bit of a downer. I was thinking of ending with, yeah, you know what I'm going to end with. I know what I'm going to end with. 1989 and... It's a game I mentioned in my Double Dragon video, which I might merge with this video. I might just do a big long one. It is, of course, Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Heroes in a Half Shell, Turtle Power. Cowabunga indeed. Beat the hell out of gangs in New York game. Actually, this is way too loud for my headphones and I can't adjust my volume at the moment. So that's better, so I don't deafen myself. I've actually never played this Turtles game before, but here we go. I mean, I suppose, yeah, here we are at the evolution of I guess it was the Turtles who finally cleaned up the inner cities. Because kind of it seems like... I'm going to have to see where the genre goes after this, but we certainly get a lot more fantasy stuff coming in. Yeah, I might see what goes on after this. Shall I take a quick look through what's after this? Yeah, let's go to 1990 in this game called The Combi Tribes. Now, it's another one I've never heard of. I guess after this, the urban fighters, the games became a lot more globe-trotting. I can see a lot more ninjas and fantasy stuff coming into the game. And, I mean, see here, I mean, we're on a journey of self-parody, effectively. I mean, that's just a caricature of the Lee brothers right there, isn't it? I love the artwork though. I mean, this is what Double Dragon should have looked like. It's actually quite a bit of fun as well. Yeah, I think the trends come and go in games, and you sort of start seeing comic book, more comic book stuff coming in. I suppose we had the Aliens versus Predator, and what do you call it? I guess because Terminator became popular, maybe that fantasy stuff. And we see a lot more fantasy and Ninja 2.5D fighters coming around after. I just realised that little health counter at the top, that is exactly the same as in Double Dragon 3. But I don't think this was by the same people. Move. Oh, here we go. Beating up with a guy with a big bit of 2x4. Right. Yeah, I think. I mean, the fact that they've gone for a game that's as daft looking as this, it's still fun. I mean, not just because it's daft and it's a caricature, doesn't mean it's not a good game. But it shows that generally things descend into parody and pastiche. It's very postmodern, darling. When actually you can't really take yourself seriously anymore because it's just become so like, oh God, not another one. So actually parody is sometimes the only way a genre can go, or reinvention of some form or other. So I suppose that's actually appropriate on this. You know, the urban brawler has eaten itself by this point. He looks like Lynch out of Kane and Lynch a bit. He's crawling away. Come here. Axe 1 over, to be continued. The demon clowns. See, yeah, it's definitely not taking itself seriously anymore. And we've got dancing kittens and demon clowns. Who made this game? Let's have a look. See who made this game. Hold on a sec. I'm getting out of here. I think it's quite interesting. There's a nice little variety of enemies and they all look very good. They're beating me up with clubs. This is definitely a game I've been wanting to... Have I got a block move? Is that a block move? No, it's a slight jump. I can jump on top of people when they're down. It's definitely very button mashy. Let's see who makes this game. Hold on. Right, so it is the same people. Yeah, it is made by from the people who bought you Double Dragon. The Combi tribes. Yeah, it's the people who bought you Double Dragon. Yeah, well done. They've just gone into self-parody at this point. What have we got here coming after? We've got a lot more karate. Here we go. So you've got Knights of the Round here. They're starting to do a lot more. So fantasy's becoming into it. Dreamlike World. Riot City. What have we got? 1991. Come on, shall we do one more? Let's do Riot City. Yeah, so let's look at Riot City, and then I will definitely call it a day, because as you can see from the previous one, Double Dragon did eat itself and spat itself out and probably got indigestion. Okay, so this is a semi-submerged world. So you see how far graphics have come on in this day. Ooh. Kind of in a more fantasy setting though as well. I mean, these sort of half, I suppose, very rundown, post-apocalyptic. We're getting into Mad Max, Fist of the North Star kind of vibes here in some ways. Was this Capcom? I really must get into the habit of looking at the artwork, the publisher, because the artwork, that whole walk and the thrusting chest is very Capcom. It's quite easy actually, and that's definitely Capcom. Yes, this must be Capcom, mustn't it? Just with that, you can see with the health bars at the top. Nice character design and everything. I guess this is where it's going. It's sort of, the genre's eaten itself, and they've got to look for something slightly more out of the ordinary just to grab people's attention and just be something a bit different. And I suppose this is how genres change, you know. Certain things don't resonate with people anymore. I guess at this time also superheroes were becoming a lot more popular because, of course, the Batman film had come out, Tim Burton's Batman. And I guess at this point, things slightly more otherworldly, comic book-like. You also had the rise of the character fighter, like Street Fighter 2 was really coming into its own around this era. And so just exaggerations really stepped up a notch. You know what, this music, you probably can't hear it, but it's driving me absolutely nuts. I'm going to finish this now. Riot City, worth playing? Any of these games worth playing? Yeah, definitely. I think definitely, what was it called? Combi Tribes? Worth having a look. Just because it's so stupid. I'd never heard of it, but I wish I'd heard of it before. I might take a look through that one. Alright then. I'm going to leave you guys stranded under a ruined, rusting city. No, Riot City is Sega and Westone. Westone? Oh, I won't finish just yet. Final Fight. Yeah, Capcom. It sort of lifted. They must have been. Were they sharing engines, or is it just a rip-off, or like a bootleg or something? I don't know how these things work back then. You know, usually these things, if something's done in-house, it doesn't say anything about who the developer was. I guess it was just very much a Capcom engine that was just published by Sega. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't think it actually said Capcom. Fascinating. Oh, we still got Undercover Cops later on. I'm not going to play that now. taken control of the city. Flame, a former Miss America, and Claude, a retired philosophy teacher. Any game where I can play as a retired philosophy teacher beating people up in the streets of a city is okay by me. So I'm sorry, I'm going to drag this one on because I really want to play this. Undercover cops. Claude, Bubba and Flame. So Flame's Miss America. I want to play Claude. Oh, I like the graphics. I'm getting no sound though. Oh, it's a real shame. So we've stepped up. We've definitely, yeah, like Riot City, we've kind of stepped up into the. We're definitely post-apocalyptic mode here. I mean, it really has stepped up. I love the artwork on this. Something about it. Go Claude. Philosophize this. Hold on. I'll just go back and see when. I'm earning dollars by beating people up. That is the score. What is going on here? Hang on. So this is 1992. This was made in. Let's see. Yeah, I might have to try another ROM. When is it set? Oh, 23 years in the future, presumably after the coronavirus has devastated everything. Yeah, everyone looks like they're at Mad Max right now. I'm definitely going to leave it here. So we started off with the Warriors and we've ended up with sort of like kind of a Mad Max superhero anime type of crossover. Just, yeah, it's just really, I think it's quite interesting to just go through 5 years of video game evolution just in that, in just in a couple of videos. Oh, can I pick that up? That's interesting. Way, go. Oh, wow. I mean, just the level of exaggeration going on now. I mean, it's kind of like the games have started to come into their own a bit and be a bit more confident. They don't just have to knock off action movies. They can sort of take inspiration from pretty much anywhere. And so you've got comic books, you've got horror, you've got all sorts of film genres. And they, yeah, I mean, I think it's around the early 90s that video games are certainly here to start developing a bit more of a personality. And it's definitely what they've got. And also, I mean, just look at the technical differences, the artwork going on in here. I think it's just sort of, yeah, I'd like to, maybe I'll just go back and do a video at some point with the evolution of pixel art and artwork in games and just take a few choice examples. I mean, look at this. I mean, that background is really quite spectacular. It's really good. I'm definitely going to leave it here because I've outstayed my welcome. I've really been nattering on a lot. Nice sort of contextual fighting moves here. He's taken me a bit of health off there. I'm going to finish off definitely this time, I promise. All right, because yeah, we're definitely not going to go back to vanilla urban. I didn't include Crude Busters in this. I suppose Crude Busters, yeah, was around this time. It was early. Was it late 8? Was that 89 Crude Busters? Or was it early 90s? Whatever. It was definitely around the point where video games were starting to think, you know what, we can do sort of very outlandish characters and pretty much really daft things going on, and it will work. We don't just have to have a couple of boys in denim jackets wandering around. And I'd have much rather seen a remake of this game a few years later than I mean, look at that. It's sort of steampunk. Post-apocalyptic steampunk arm there going on. I'd much rather have seen this revitalised than bloody Double Dragon any day. All right then. See you guys.